Hello and welcome to a brand new episode. Today we're looking at Betor Kin to All, which I believe is a pretty fun build around, and you'll see why in a moment. So it rewards creatures with big butts. It cares about loads of toughness. It already has 7 itself, which makes it very resistant to a lot of things like blocking and red and green damage effects. So beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. Pretty nice. If the total toughness is 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Nice. And then if you have total toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life rounded up. That is amazing. And pretty fair design, I think. 10, 20, 40. They are large leaps, but this deck does kind of try to go out of its way to buff everything. So there's quite a few things going on in the deck. The deck essentially has a lot of interesting anthems that you might not normally see, and sadly, some of them you won't even see in Commander. So Armingala, for instance, beginning of your end step, creatures you control and creatures in your hand, library, graveyard perpetually get +1/+1. This is probably one of the best cards in the deck. Just absolutely ludicrous. Unnatural Growth gives us a temporary solution to Betor. You don't necessarily have to have 40 toughness, you can have 20. But if you do, Unnatural Growth makes it 40, so that's epic. We've also got creatures with really good rates, like Argonosaur Rex, which is a 5-mana 8/8, and you can discard it to give something trample indestructible, which is really cool as well. Virtue of Loyalty puts counters on all your creatures on the end step. God Eternal Ketra has got a really good rate because you play any creature, you get 4/4, so that's going to be 10 toughness in total just with that and one creature. Cathar's Crusade, crazy. Creature comes in, put a counter on everything. We have the big Alishnorn, gives all your other creatures +2/+2, really nice, and Zopendrel. So these are the top end stuff. It's going to make getting to 40 toughness a bit easier. I'm not saying it's always going to be possible, but it's just a really fun card, and just playing it a few times has already made me want to make this in paper. But it's such a shame because the paper version of this is so expensive. I think like 15 to 20 quid, which is quite a lot for a single card, especially when I already have so many as well. But yeah, it's just a really fun deck. If you're making this, just make sure you have loads of anthemish effects. You'll notice there's not that many traditional anthems, which just say +1/+1. Wedding Announcement does do this on the opposite side of the card, but I tried to have anthem effects that also did other things as well, just to make it a bit more interesting. Like Monastery Mentor, for instance. It's not an anthem per se, but if you have 2 or 3 monks out and you cast an uncreature spell, then they all go up by 1. So that's what I'm trying to say, like interesting things that aren't exactly what you'd initially think of. Flowering of the White Tree as well is just one of the strongest anthems in the whole game. There is a pseudo counters of matters theme in the deck, so that's why there is 1 Hardened Scales. In fact, I'm trying to see where it is now, and I'm starting to think, did I take out any? We've got Cathar's Crusade, I suppose, but I just think the early stuff. I suppose we do have the Luminarch Aspirant. So I think Hardened Scales is a bit iffy. That's why it's the only effect of its kind in the deck. Yeah, I mean Cathar's Crusade with Hardened Scales is kind of insane, but for 1 mana, I think it's kind of worth slotting in. It's really fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you want to help me out, like and subscribe. That's free. But if you want to support me extra to that, look at my description below and you can get a custom video of your choice if you become a donator via Ko-fi or Patreon or YouTube member even. So yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you for watching. Let's get into the videos. Right, okay. This hand is pretty cool. Against Progenitors, so many mana pips. It's kind of hard to see, but luckily it's just simplistically Wooburg twice. Imagine Progenitors' cost was randomized and you had eye problems and you couldn't quite see. You'd be in some trouble. I'd cast that, wouldn't you? Oh god, I've just thought of like an alchemy design where the cost was randomized every turn. Holy crap, can you imagine that? That will be the end of time as we know it. Saturday night, it's a deadly night to play Magic. It's where all the pricks reside. That's where the pricks reside. That's where the pricks reside. Here's the thing. They play Progenitus, pass a turn, we board wipe, then what? What other things are going on in their deck? I mean, if it legit is just play the deck to get Progenitus out, and it's a fun deck, let's go. Let's see what happens. They have a lot of mana out. That's interesting. Elishnorn plus Felidar Retreat. I need to sneeze. I hate my body. Oh my god, I sneeze. Nothing's... I mean, this room might as well be pressurized. Nothing's changed. But then, you know, now I need to sneeze. Literally out of nowhere. Thanks, buddy. Oh, boy. 10 mana. One with the multiverse. Placed off for free. From the hand or the top of the deck. Ramp. Okay. And a Golos with no ETBs. Ooh. Spicy. And they're attacking. We could be in a hell of a lot of trouble here. Okay, Golos. Oh, we got the literal perfect. We got the nut draw.
Nobody knows Dominaria.
Well, that was really lucky, to be honest. So this taps for 4 green. Okay. Man, we have a lot of toughness. This has got to be the highest toughness I've had so far in testing. 23. But yeah, but interestingly, they can't cast Progenitors for free. It's only stuff off the top or hand, and they can obviously play Progenitors with the money they have. Normally, I would be kind of terrified. I don't know. They've got Omniscience for 1 spell a turn, so I don't really know how we're going to get past this Progenitus. I guess in the air. Why is my nose running now? Goodness. Okay, Black Market Connections, Arboreal Grazer. Can we just win now? I think potentially. Let's just have a look. So if this resolves, that's crazy amount of power and toughness. Okay, beautiful. Land comes in. Let's just go maximize on the counters. Because Elishnorn's doubling that. That is ridiculous. Our Boil Grazer comes in. Another land, 2 counters on each. Black Market Connection comes down as well. Just play Liliana minus pluses, so each player discards cards from the hand. This has got 11 flying. They can block anything they want. They can block the Elishnorn. It won't die because it'll have 2 more counters. They still take 11 plus 8 plus 7. Wow, that is literally exactly how I wanted to show you guys this deck going. And now I desperately want to buy this card. Amazing. Sorry for the random sneezing. Okay, lovely starting hand here. Delighted Halfling gives us a nice turn 2. They might do the same as well, so let's prepare ourselves for Tyvar Jubilant Brawler. Pretty cool superpower. Looking at the artwork, he can turn his fist into steel. I think that was the kind of metal that the Phyrexians were unable to corrupt. But they only had a limited number of resources to do it, so I think they can only protect certain parts of their body and only a certain amount of people, I believe. Let's get a black source. So yes, I could have gone for the Painful Truths there, but this taps for colourless unless it's for legend, so I would have only drawn 2. So I do believe that doing this was just a more efficient thing to do there. I like this deck. I think Abzad is definitely one of my favourite colour combinations. Seems to be quite a hardy colour combination. As I said, it's just such a shame that this is so expensive in paper. I'd love to own one, but my goodness. 15 to 20 pounds is so expensive. I think that's one nice thing about Arena. People say it's expensive, but if you do unlock it in packs, it does allow you to kind of play test and do cool things that you might not have been able to do in paper. So that's cool. Okay, so I'll play this. Man, we're getting so close to just casting the Betor now, aren't we? Betor juice. What do you have? 5, 6. Come on, tower, that can get up the bottom. And the sheer fact that we have Aerial Ultimatum in a deck that just has loads of fetches is kind of nice as well. Because eventually, once we use these fetches, the Ultimatum will ramp us as well, which is kind of crazy. So what can this guy do? You may activate abilities of creatures you control that had haste. That's very, very interesting in those colours. And you can untap target creature and then mill to return something 2 or less.
We can win.
Non-land, was it? Creature card, okay. It's such a shame to play the casualties because they will probably quit. So I think we're just going to go for Betor here. And we have 10 toughness thanks to the Arboreal Grazer. And yeah, I think I'd rather have a bit of a game than just casualties and win the game outright. But we'll see. Maybe I could totally regret this if they give Thoughtseize, Thoughts, and Duress. Then I'm in a lot of trouble. But also, the other weird thing about this is if they play more non-creature, non-planeswalker things, maybe we hit another type. We'll see. But let's hope we don't regret it. Oracle of Moldiah. Okay. So they can play extra lands now. Dark Ritual on top, so that helps us. It sounds a lot, doesn't it? 10, 20, and 40, but honestly, the fact he has 7 toughness itself kind of basically says you have to have 33 excess toughness. I know that's weird to say that, but... Gitrog Monster. Untap up to one target creature.
There's that second wind.
Okay, so we are going to be using casualties on that in our next turn because they have reached scary levels already with the Gitrog Monster. Hardened Scales, that's not really something I want right now. So they've already used this. Right, let's tap that for colours. The game loves to use her for just creature land, planeswalker. If this and this. And we also have the Terra Sunder.
So will I.
And I think we're going to leave the Marsh Flats. Actually, no, we're going to sack the Marsh Flats. So we can play the Selfless Spirit and then protect our team. But the fact they haven't quit means they probably have something else juicy lined up. That's good. As I said, it's more interesting to have a game even after a humongously obnoxious board wipe like Casualties. Which I wouldn't normally class as a board wipe. But it kind of feels like it in a way, doesn't it? And the fact she's drawn on the card is really just excellent there. So if you're thinking of it this way, Betor will draw your card every turn with just a simple common 0/3. So you could make this as a defender deck. That's also an interesting path you can take. So they're attacking for 3. And also Betor rewards your playstyle being a bit different, right? Because now, I don't really want to block with this because that's -3 toughness. I kind of want to get to 20 toughness if possible. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Dark Ritual. What's it going to be? Head Shredder. When it attacks, mill 2 and I want on more lands, I'll put it to graveyard. Okay. Right, so we've got Mythos to kill something else. So they're going to get Primeval Titan in the following turn. They're down to 7. Let's kill this to stop them getting loads and loads of lands here. I'm not really sure what they can do to scare me because we know there's a Primeval Titan coming up. It's not... That's another fetch land. That's a lot of fetches we've just drawn there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the 6, I think. So if they just play the Primeval Titan and then, like, pass, I don't really see how they can survive much longer. I mean, we've got lethal in the air, so they have to do something about our flyers here. And I'm not sure they can. They can have a board wipe, but... yeah. Honestly, I have no idea what they're going to do. They're going to crew that. What can they possibly... oh, well, forces, that would have been good if they had the mana for it, but... let's just block the 5. I'm a bit suspicious of the final card. 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a Selfless Spirit to protect our team, so... Rise of the Witch King. Each opponent... ah, okay. So if they sack the World Shaper, they get 3 lands back. But we still have... so it's good we didn't block with the Blighted Halfling, because we would have lost one of our flying attackers. So what are they going to choose to get back? Nothing with flying or reach. So there's nothing they can do. Like, Tyrannosaurus Rex is pretty cool, right? But it doesn't actually do anything for them here. And neither do these lands. And in fact, the best thing they would have had is if they had some kind of Course of Crucifix effect, wherein if a land comes in, they gain life. But yeah, I feel as though we really wasted a lot of time there, knowing that they couldn't do anything. They should probably just quit sooner. But I suppose they were hoping that yeah, I mean, if we'd blocked with this, then we would have had to sack one of these, and then we wouldn't have lethal. But yeah, we got lucky. This hand is so stacked, I have to keep it, even though we can't play elves on turn 1, sadly, but we can play it on turn 2. And it should be just about fine. But yeah, the rest of the deck is pretty good. Hand, should I say. Or actually, even better, into the north. We want to continuously ramp elves and dog next turn. Although the dog can protect the elf from any removal, perhaps. Goreen is an adventure deck. Something you don't see very, very often. Makes a difference, doesn't it? Makes it change. So whenever you cast an adventure spell, you may copy. You may choose new targets for the copy. Now, I did make a deck like this a while back, but some of the cards are pretty substandard, like Intrepid Truffle Snout. Not the most appealing thing to be hard casting. I mean, okay, it makes a food token. It's okay. Food token, getting a bit of life back. Might be able to have a way to sacrifice it. If they don't play the commander, then... okay. Nice. Beautiful. And yeah, 7 toughness is exactly the kind of toughness we are looking for here, guys. A giant, ugly victory bell plant that's permeating putrid pollen. And these zombies are just walking around. It's actually kind of creepy as hell. And I always forget the bottom part. Land cards in your graveyard have dredge too. So instead of drawing, you can mill 2 and then draw the land. Which is kind of cool. Sadly, the swords can't be stopped here. But we do get another plant out of it, so... flowering of the white tree. I'm going to have to say no for now. I just need a land. I need the 6th land to get the casualties online, really. Yeah, and it's a shame because the power boost I would have had there is really quite a lot. +4 power on the current board. Annoyingly, the Elspeth's Nightmare doesn't hit any of their creatures, which is kind of strange. Let's just block 3. So if they pass, it's going to be annoying because does that mean they have counter magic? Vega. Okay. Land. We hit the land, guys. Artifact, creature, land. So that's pretty good at slowing them down. Done a little bit of admin now. Now we can kind of just slow down a bit and maybe play Betor next turn. But yeah, when you hit their command and a land, it's taking them back -3 really, because it's +2 to play it, +2 mana. But you're -1 the land, so yeah, that's a when you kill creature and land, it's pretty brutal. Casualties is everybody knows that. It's, you know, when you're hit by this, feels wrong. At least a Vega can be hit by this. That's good. 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we did play Betor, we would just draw a card on the end step. Okay, we'll take 5. That's a lot. Swords. No, we're going to play it with this. Keep up the white mana. Mana Tithe. No. No Mana Tithe. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Now, it's funny because this plant does take us to 10 toughness, so it was good that we didn't block with this. Fanatic Erroneous, +4 toughness, but yeah, stuff like this is great. Just 4 toughness is crazy on a 2-drop, you know. There's probably a lot of defenders you could use, but I feel like if you have a defenders deck and you don't have enablers, then the defenders just sit there and do nothing. So I feel as though it is definitely risky. And we already have Arcades for a defender deck. I don't think you should, like, you can only have so many defender decks, right? Because you've also got Doran of the Siege Tower. Kind of cool art, but Wrath does look very, very different there. I want to get rid of him because he's Card of Vonage. Argonasaur Rex. Trample Indestructible. It's pretty good. How much is Argonasaur Rex on eBay these days? Argonasaur Rex. Arena is like it's like a taster course of seeing cards that you might want to buy, right? Wow, it's only like £3 or so. Pretty good. Pretty good. Ward 2. Let's get rid of this because that's giving them a bit of advantage, right? $14 toughness. Next turn is going to be 20+, hopefully. Down to 17. And we draw a card. Liliana. Not sure if she fits this deck very well. She doesn't provide any toughness, obviously. She doesn't... I mean, it's just a solid card, right? It's just good to get rid of early hexproofers. I mean, there's always some kind of annoying hexproof card that we all hate dealing with, opposing Ojutais or Kotis. I think because Kotis exists in Sultai now, that Liliana's even better. It's funny how you could say that about Liliana, a card that's already, you know, a premium removal spell and control card that actually gets better when they make more indestructible. That's a crazy sentence. She already, you know, dominated many older formats. Let's just take one of those twos. We're getting a little bit low. What are you gonna do with your intrepid truffle snout? It's probably dealt like what, 9, 12 damage now. Impressive for a card that I dissed early on. Okay, so they're just going to return it to the hand. That feels very excessive. I guess there's nothing else they could do. Drop a planes and wipe the board. Go on. Decisions. My turn. They've got 3 mana up. That's pretty sus. Especially now we're seeing what's in the hand anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Return it to its owner's hand. Sure. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, it slows us down quite a bit. '21 toughness. So we now draw and untap, which is kind of crazy when you have mana dorks. Like being able to use them in your opponent's turn is just incredible. Betor, kin to all. He wants everyone to join him at the dinner table. Kind of awesome artwork suggesting that the platform is standing on almost has draconic properties, like it's scaled, right? It's mountainous, volcanic, but it also looks like it could be on the back of another giant dragon, which it's really awesome idea to think about that. Virtue of Loyalty, and there we have it, guys. I would definitely make this guy. He's one of my favorite ones of the latest set, and I think you'll really enjoy playing him too. It's just good fun. You're playing big butts. It's a fun deck because it allows you to basically do whatever you want. I like it when decks do that. I don't really like being pigeonholed into tribal, typal, spell-specific stuff. I like just... So the deck's saying, big toughness, but you do you. You choose which toughness. It doesn't even have to be defenders. I think that's elegant design. I feel like a card like Arcades. The issue with Arcades effects and stuff like that is because if you buy all these cards for one deck, let's say you bought 40 defenders for an Arcades deck, and then one day you don't like defenders. You're like, I don't want to do this anymore. You now have a load of shit cards in your hand, you don't know what to do. But with Betor, it doesn't say defenders, right? So you can use these big butt creatures in other decks and spread them out. And I think that's good for economy as a weird like add-on effect, but just good for in terms of creativity. And I think tribal nowadays is actually also branching out in that direction. You'll notice a lot of tribal cards these days. They don't just say all fish get +1/+1. They'll say all fish or serpents get +1/+1. And that's good because now you're branching off, right? You could have one person's deck with 2 separate versions. And I love that about Magic. That's really cool. And when I see a card like Betor and I play it and I like it, that gives me faith that there are still designers at WotC who know how to make fun decks. And that's all we want at the end of the day. We just want to have fun decks. And it's weird to end the video on a fun note for once. But honestly, it's been a really great experience, Target Dragonstorm. What a great set to dilute Aether Drift, which was really a failure. And Aether Drift really mashed together 3 or 4 sets that I believe were separate, and Wizards said we don't have time to give each set a set this year, so basically they mashed them in. You could have had Aether, so Aether Drift would have basically been Kaladesh and Amonkhet and Muruganda. It's a shame we couldn't go back to those and explore them separately. Instead, we got a diluted down set, which really is a disservice to all of those planes, and I feel like Secret Lair is to blame for that. I'm part of the problem though, because I do like Final Fantasy. I've got a bit of the Final Fantasy stuff pre-ordered. But yes, ultimately what I'm trying to say is when design harkens back to the original ethics of Magic, it's beautiful, like Betor. But when It's rushed. It's ruined. Yeah, that's it really. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.